So I thought I'd do a quick video. Got a quick, gonna answer a couple of quick questions, Raymond. Thank you very much for the answer. What do I think of the protesters? I'm going to be very careful because I actually do work in security, and so as a disclaimer, this is not the views of my company. I do believe in myself as well. I have the freedom of speech, which leads me nicely into freedom of speech. And this is my own personal thoughts and on what the law says and what history has taught us. So, what do I think of? Well, I'm actually gonna expand it to protesting. I think, to be honest, there's different levels of protesting. Some are effective, some are not. Some protests are actually quite disgraceful, and I would say this: if there's anything with violence, anything that's destroying public property, making people feel unsafe, threatened, anybody getting injured just because someone feels aggrieved or upset, I don't hold with that. There is no excuse in any way, shape or form to injure someone just because you believe something different. That, to be honest with you, really is the beginnings of totalitarianism, and it's also at the beginnings of dictatorship and enforcing one belief over the other. I very much like the ideals in America where it says that the rights of one individual may not infringe upon the rights of another, and that's what we need to remember here. So my view on that is pretty much is that, well, I'll take the Mormon Church for example. When the Book of Mormon the musical came on, and there were some things that weren't exactly in line with the teachings of that religious philosophy. The missionaries and members, instead of being told, "Oh, we'll go and protest and stand outside and protest," they were instructed to go out to the places, meet people, smile, say hi, introduce them as members of the church, and say, "Hey, just seen you go to see the play. Here's the Book of Mormon. You've seen the film. You've seen the musical. Now go and read the book. It's even better than the musical." And there was a lot of thought that went into it, and it disarmed people, and the church recognised the right of those people to put on a performance, and it is a dramatic it's a dramatic portrayal of the Book of Mormon of Joseph Smith. It's done with someone who has looked into it and expressed their view on it, and we're all entitled to do that. To be honest with you, the only time really where, and even then, it should not be against the people or public buildings. I think if there is going to be something where there needs to be physical action taken, I believe very much that it should be directed at those who are in charge. And I will make the disclaimer on the following: that the very nation's existence is a threat, that people are dying, starving, suffering from absolute abject poverty, that people are enslaved, and that the people are being absolutely tyrannically dominated by the ruling faction. In the case of Oliver Cromwell, the French Revolution, or the emancipation of the slaves in America, the Civil War. I think those are times where, yes, there does need to be things done, but it needs to be done directed at those people who are committing the evils on that. Do I think that I don't think there's that many evils, and to be honest with you, I think that if you feel offended, yes, you have every right to say you feel offended. Absolutely, obviously, you have every right to say, "Oh, I feel offended at this," but to put other people in fear, to work into a frenzy, to scare people, to threaten people, no. And I'm not saying everything happens like that, but as we all know, there are the minority of people who will go and do that to somehow satisfy their need for whatever it is they do, and to be honest, it's pitiful, and they're to be pitied because they can't think on how to express themselves. Those are my thoughts, and like I said, those are my thoughts, and that's about as far as I'm going to go within the law and with how I see it. The next question, somebody asked Juggernaut, what's the difference between a practice photo shoot and the real thing? Well, actually, there may not be different. Again, it's down to perception. What I might see is different, someone might not. For me, the photo shoot that I did before was pretty much a practice. I wanted to see, I wanted to just sort of explore, see what it's like to do it, see how it sets up, see if I could actually take some decent photos. It was the reason why I said it, the last one was a practice one, was because it was more of a confidence level for me. Much like when you put on a play, you have several rehearsals, and then you have a dress rehearsal, and then you go and do the same sort of thing. That was just sort of like a dress rehearsal. It was done just, a few, it wasn't a full setup. It was perhaps a dress rehearsal, so I could get an idea of how to do things, how to pose, how to kind of go through that. This one we'll take a few photographs, but this one will be an official sort of like, this will be going in a portfolio, and it will be used for whatever purposes that needs to be done. So I hope that answers the question on that. Thank you for those. Those are the first two real decent questions that I've had. Thank you very much for asking them. It's been a pleasure to do this video. It's been a pleasure to express a few viewpoints. I love it when people answer. Thank you very much for the David Brent. That really made me smile, made my day, and I'll take that. I happen to like Ricky Gervais as well, and that's just on another point. Just before I finish on the thing of being offended, look, Ricky Gervais does a lot of things with humour, and he laughs at situational things. He makes fun of situational things. Yes, there are some things that even I find like, ooh, that's, oh, that's a bit. But, I think it's foolish, especially in this day and age, to get offended at everything that someone says, because at the end of the day, someone somewhere will always be offended at someone you said, and then say, oh, that person said this. In fact, a few months down the line, this video could be seen, and someone says, I'm offended about what he said, he should be cancelled. Well, what can I say? I think that people need to take less offence and think more. And I really do think that. And if you have a culture or a society or a belief system or whatever it may be that says that you must be offended because this happened, well, I think you need to address it. Life's too short to be offended because of what someone else thinks. In the likelihood, 5 months down the line, they'll find somebody else to be offended about, and they'll leave you completely alone. You cannot predict the future, but you can learn from the past, and you can develop yourself to be more of an enlightened person, which I'm in the process of doing. I want to learn more. I want to be enlightened more. I want to think how things work and to discover things. I hope those answer your questions. That's just a little bit of a ramble end to my video. Have a great day. Thank you so very much for asking, and enjoy the day.